Welcome back to another episode of Everything But the Lesson Plan. I am your host, Francesca Thompson, and today we're diving into something we all can relate to: the impact of that one special teacher who truly made a difference in your life. Pause and think about that teacher. What did they do? The teacher who didn't just teach the material, but inspired you. In a time where we're facing a nationwide teacher shortage, I thought that it would be great for us to get back to sharing stories of why teachers are so important and how they made a difference in our lives. So each season on Everything But the Lesson Plan, we have someone on the show to share about their favorite teacher. Today, that someone is Sadiyah Ali Nur. I am so excited to hear your story, Sadiyah. Welcome to the show, Sadiyah. How are you today?
I am good. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm excited to have you on. This is one of my favorite episodes. I love it when people share about their favorite teacher.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, first of all, let's start off with you. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am currently in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been
Hmm.
living here for almost going on like 10-ish years now, which is crazy to say. I'm a registered nurse. I work in the NICU, so I work with like little premature infants
Oh my
or really sick
goodness.
newborns. Yes, I've been a NICU nurse for 4 years now, which is crazy to say. But I absolutely love it. I'm also back in school now to become a pediatric nurse practitioner. In my spare time, I'm very passionate about dancing. I've been dancing since I was like about 11. So that's a passion of mine that I still take part in to this day, just taking classes and training here and there, doing little dance gigs and whatnot. I also have a podcast with some of my friends called Life is Weird, where we just talk about our experiences being young Black women in this
Mhm.
world and what it's like navigating this weird thing we call life, because it's very
Yeah.
weird. And I love traveling as well and just spending time with family and friends. So that's a little bit about me.
So, you know what? I did not know that you were a NICU nurse. And let me tell you something. I don't know if you knew that Alyssa was a NICU baby,
I did
my youngest.
not. When was she born?
She was born June 10th, 2009. And we didn't go in expecting any of that. And regular due date, regular everything. I think she was maybe a couple of days late, but
Okay, so she
when
wasn't
she
like a preemie or anything like
no,
that.
she was
Got
just born, and it was like the situation. And so we had learned everything right in that moment. And I really credit my nurse for helping me to get through that, because
it.
when you go in and you're just expecting to have a child like a normal way, and then
Yeah,
things happen, it was just a lot of emotion. I was quite depressed,
yeah.
but it was the nurse who helped us get through that. So I am so happy for you.
Yes, thank you so much. No, yeah, being a NICU parent is not for the weak. I tell my NICU parents all the time, I'm like, usually having a NICU baby is not a part of the birth plan, you know? So
No.
like you said, it can come with a lot of emotions, but the NICU isn't for everybody, but I will say the nurses who are in there, we absolutely love it. And those little babies, they are so resilient and
Yeah.
strong little warriors. So it's cool. It's so cool to, just kind of see them grow and be a part
Yeah.
of, their little journey along with the parents. So
Oh, wow, I love it. Well, glad to know that. And
yes.
so, a lot of different, I love the career. I love all of your different aspirations, dancing, podcast. What role did school play in all of these decisions? Were you part of any organizations or clubs, or what sparked your interest in some of the
Yeah,
things?
so actually growing up, my mom was one of those moms that put me in everything. She let me try
Okay.
everything. I was like, okay, I want to do this. So she put me in that. And then I was like, okay, now I want to do this. So she would put me in that. And she was supportive of it all. Um,
Hmm.
but I will say, I think my love for dancing really came from when I joined the dance magnet school in high school.
Hmm.
So like I said, I have been dancing since I was 11, but I didn't really start taking it seriously until I was in high school. So I went to a
Okay.
magnet school for the arts, and they had different programs. So they had theater, they had chorus, they had art like drawing and painting and dance. So my love for dance really, really grew during high school. But even with pursuing nursing, like I actually wanted to be a teacher for the longest. It was either between like
Wow.
or nursing, because I loved teaching little kids, but then I also loved helping people. So it was actually my school counselor who told me, she was like, well, with being a nurse, you will be able to fulfill both roles because, being a nurse also requires you to be a teacher. So she was like, if you want to kind of be fulfilled in both of those avenues, she recommended that I kind of went towards nursing. And plus, it's just such a versatile career. So I'm glad that she did that. But a lot growing up, a lot of my teachers and professors had a huge part or impact in the decisions that I made when it came to
Mhm.
hobbies that I wanted to pursue and just like being encouraging or offering advice. So,
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. So tell me a little bit about what type of student you were. I think
mhm.
I hear outgoing, very curious, but tell us, how did you show up in the classroom?
Yeah, I was actually a very good student. I talked a lot. I had a little mouth on me. I was one of those
Okay.
kids where, the parent teacher conferences were always good, but she was like, she makes such good grades, but she just talks too much. But
Hmm.
I was one of those students, like my mom never had to tell me to do my homework. I was always on top of it from a young age. I don't
Yeah.
know if maybe it was just something in me, but like I always knew the importance of my education. And I saw early on the benefits that came with getting good grades. So I think once
Hmm.
I saw that, I was like, ooh, like, I like this. Like, let me continue being a good student, making good grades because I was aware of the opportunities that can come with it. So my mom never really had to get on me about
Yeah.
doing schoolwork. Even when it came to projects, I was always doing projects on my own. Like, I would ask my parents for help every now and then, but like majority of the time I was like in the books, um,
Yeah.
talking to my teachers. Like I never had an issue with being on top of my schoolwork.
Yeah. Well, that's good because sometimes doing the schoolwork, you got to encourage yourself.
Right,
Okay.
right.
But you were definitely on it. And so that's really good. Your friend Anexia, my child, she was one of those two. She got her work done. So
Got my work done. Nowadays I am a bit of a procrastinator, but I think it's just because I got a little more on my plate.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. So you told us about your hobbies, but you didn't explain that travel. So tell me about that, girlfriend.
traveling,
Yeah, you said that's is that
yeah.
one of your hobbies?
It is. I do enjoy traveling and going to different places. I haven't explored travel nursing yet, which is crazy, but that is something on my
Oh.
bucket list. But
Mm-hmm.
just traveling with friends, going to different countries. I was actually born in Germany, and I was
Oh.
a military brat growing up, so we moved around a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
I fell in love with different cultures, different people, different
Yeah.
places. So being older and having a little money of my own now.
Mm-hmm.
I can explore different cities and different countries. So definitely something that I try to prioritize.
Yeah. When you were in school, did your school encourage any trips? I remember when I was in high school, I was part of this club called FBLA,
Oh
and it was
yeah.
my FBLA advisor who had us go on this trip, and we got to stay in this very nice hotel. And it was totally different from the hotel when we were on vacation with our family members. It was just like really nice. We had to dress up, and that kind of encouraged me to want to get out there and see the world as well.
Yeah, that is one thing I wish I did was take advantage of like study abroad
Yeah,
programs during college because I didn't. And I wish I did because I see
yeah,
friends and other people who took advantage of that and learned so much. So
hmm,
seeing them do that makes
yeah,
me want to like, go back and try to like focus on studying abroad, whether it's through college or not, just
yeah,
like going across the country just to like learn.
yeah, yeah. And Georgia State, that's where you are. I graduated from there as well, undergrad, and they had me doing a lot of traveling too. So I
Mm,
really Georgia State is one of is my favorite school. I rep UGA all day long, but Georgia State had me out, okay, out in the
yes.
streets traveling and getting to know people and networking, and I love that, and that's
Yes.
part of the experience as well.
Yeah, that's actually
So,
something I should probably look into now that I'm like back in school and
yes,
in a grad program because I would love to be able to travel and do like a just like healthcare stuff abroad in a different country that maybe lacks healthcare. So
oh,
that
that'd be
actually,
great.
yeah, that's actually something that I'm gonna need to look into for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that journey for you.
Yeah.
So now let's get to the teacher. All
Yes.
right. So this is about learning who your favorite teacher was
Mhm.
and why did that person make a difference for you? Because we don't know who's going to listen to this episode. It could be a teacher that just started their journey
Yeah.
and they want to know what it is they can do to support their students. It could be a teacher who's at the end of the journey and
Yeah.
just wanting to hear what it is that you know sparked your interest in them, right? And so
Yeah.
we want to hear from you who your favorite teacher was when you were attending school and why.
Yeah. So when I first got this question, I was thinking about it because I was like, you got to run through all the teachers. You don't want to miss nobody. I'm like, all right, let me go back to high school. Let me go back to college, and
Yeah.
but the one teacher that always stuck out was my second grade teacher. Her name was Miss Eddie. And
Mm-hmm.
Miss Eddie was a Black woman who had two daughters, but she was also a member of our church.
Mm-hmm.
However, like I said, I was in the military, so I moved around a lot. So I actually had joined her class a little later on in the school year. But I remember when I came into the classroom, I was one of those kids. I was outgoing, but I was shy at first. You kind of had to get me out my shell. So I came in and I was really quiet and shy, and she did such a great job at just providing such a welcoming environment and making sure that the kids like interacted with me and introducing me to everybody. And I just felt so welcomed literally from day one. Um, and she, like I said, I had found out that she was a member of our church a little bit later on. So she was my teacher first. And then I go to church and I see her and I'm like, oh, in my second grade head, I'm like, oh, you have a life. You have a
Yeah.
life outside of teaching, so it was just cool to see her in that aspect, see her be so involved in church, but then also be an amazing teacher as well.
Yeah. There's a little like a quote or a meme or something that teachers have, and it says that there's no one person that makes you feel like a celebrity more than a student who sees you outside of
Yes,
school.
yes. It was like I said, you don't think about that because you only see them in, this one role, and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
you have a kid, you have lives, you're married. Like,
yeah,
it's like, it's crazy to think of. It's crazy to think of.
yeah, and that's a big part of education. I know that the times that we live in now, teachers live everywhere, but when you have teachers who live in the community, go work in the community, go to church in the community, grocery shop in the community, you
Yes,
have more access to parents. You get to kind of help build up that student, engaging with those parents and having those conversations. And it's more of an accountability piece as well.
yeah,
So that's always the good part of education, especially when you live in the communities. Now, a lot of teachers like, well, I don't want to live with my students. I don't want to go to the store and
right.
they're there. I actually live in the community
I love
where
that.
my students are, so I see them everywhere at the grocery store. When I go to the restaurant, they're serving me. And
Yeah.
and then their parents are having conversations with me and things like that. So it does make a difference.
Wait, can I ask you a question about that? Like,
Yeah.
knowing that you live within the community, do you find that like you have to be like on your best behavior at all times? Are you able to turn that, that mode on and off? Like sometimes are you out and you like, ooh, even though I'm their teacher, I don't want them to come up. Like, do you ever have those moments or how is that like
You know
balance?
what? Sometimes, especially when we go out to eat, and depending on what we're ordering, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh gosh, there's my student right there, and they're the server. But for the most part, it doesn't bother me. I see them everywhere, and I'm that type of teacher. If I see you, I'm talking to you, your mama, your cousin, and
I love
all your
it.
friends.
I love
So they probably like, oh, she talked too much, but that's just how I am. So
it.
yeah, it doesn't bother me that much. But we are in Atlanta, so if I feel like
Right.
I need to get away, I will go downtown closer to you. Okay?
Yeah. I know that's right.
Yeah. So that's good to know that Miss Eddie, right, made a
Miss
difference for you.
Eddie.
Tell me a little bit about her classroom, the learning environment that she created for you.
Yeah, so Miss Eddie, she was a very hands-on teacher.
Mhm.
She did a really good job at not only teaching a lesson, but also helping us to apply it to real world situations. I remember one time, and it was crazy because like we were watching this movie. It was a movie about like or it was like a short film talking
Yeah.
about like the process of making donuts, right? Because it aligned with the reading that like the book that we were reading. So we
Mhm.
had watched this little documentary about like how donuts were made in shops and the factories and small bakeries. And whole time in the back of the classroom, she had her little pan and she was making donuts in the back, but we had no idea, right? Because we're all
Okay.
focused. So then, like, we're watching this documentary. She comes around and she's passing donuts, and we're like, "What? When was you making these donuts?" So it was just always cool. Like she had a really good way at like making like really making a whole experience out of the lesson
Yeah.
plan. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yes.
we were reading this book, but then also we watched a documentary, and then she was able to like make us donuts, and we're eating and having a good time, and we're snacking in the class. And we always love a good snacking in the class moment. So like whenever there's like a snack that we can enjoy that's provided by the teacher, we ate it up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I always remember her as one of those teachers that really put everything into her lessons. But like I said, she didn't want us to just learn, she wanted us to apply it to the real world as well.
Yeah. And you know what? You said something key there that I'm like, okay, that's a good way to kind of tell Miss Eddie's story.
Mhm.
She made an experience out of the lesson plan.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
So, for anyone who is a new teacher,
Hmm.
they're about to enter this field. They probably are 2 weeks in at this point here in Georgia. What would you say to them?
I would say never underestimate your impact.
Mhm.
I know being a new teacher can probably be scary, right? Because it's like the future of the youth is
Yeah.
literally in a way in these teachers' hands. Um, but the impact that can be made on these kids' lives, like I said, out of all of my teachers, out of all of my professors, I keep going back to the second grade, to the second
Mm-hmm.
grade teacher. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Mm-hmm.
8 now. So it's like the fact that I still remember to this day, I'll never forget. There was one time um she had gave us like free time. So like we had like about 30 minutes to an hour of like free time. And in that free time, you could do whatever you want in the classroom. And she had different stations. And I don't know what possessed me to want to learn how to spell Mississippi, but I spent my free time one class learning how to spell Mississippi. I was like, by the end of this hour, I'm gonna know how to spell Mississippi. And
Mm-hmm.
I went to her and I was like, Miss Eddie, guess what? I know how to spell Mississippi. And I spelled it for her. And you would have thought I won like a Nobel Peace Prize the way she like celebrated me. And it just stuck with me to this day. I'm like, it's such a small moment, but it's something that had such
Yeah.
an impact on me. And to this
Yeah.
day, like just the way that she made me feel empowered, and she never made me feel like anything that I did was ever too small of an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
So I would tell a new teacher, never underestimate your impact. The conversations that you have with your students, no matter how big or how small they are, they can last with them throughout their entire lifetime.
That's
So
right.
take your job seriously. It's a serious job.
Mm-hmm.
Take your job.
Yeah.
Y'all have a huge impact on people's lives on a daily basis.
Yeah. We'll love it. Thank you so much for sharing your story today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Hopefully, this will motivate and inspire a teacher. Teachers are so important, and we need so many of them. This
Yeah.
episode is really about telling a story because stories are good with connecting people to passion and purpose. We don't know who is going to listen to this episode, but hopefully, they can connect with something you said today, Sadiyah. For my listeners, please be sure to subscribe to Everything But the Lesson Plan and share this episode. So, whether you're an educator, a student, or just someone who remembers that one teacher who made learning unforgettable, hopefully this episode sparks some incredible memories. That is all for this week. And for my educators, keep doing one thing for me, keep thriving.
Yes.
Yay!
Yay.